Bleeding from the nose, there's one horse left to slay. O'er the fields we go, feasting all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, make undead spirits bright. What fun it is to chew and sing an eating song tonight. Oh, zombie yells, howling all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in an undead open sleigh. Hey, zombie yells, chomping all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in an undead open sleigh. Hey everyone, can you tell I'm excited about Christmas and my December TBR? That zomborific song was written by Michael P. Spradlin. Hi, I'm Kat. Welcome back to Kat's Novel Adventures. I must admit that my December TBR is a bit ambitious, and that is because I am participating in 3 readathons, plus I'm reading a book for the FOMO book club. However, these are just, books that I'm considering to read. If I don't get to them, I can always read them, in the new year. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. Anyway, let's get started with the first one. It's the Christmas Evil Readathon. And this is being hosted by my very good friend, Kelsi, over at Slime and Slashers, Kelly at Kelly Hooked on Books, Crystal at Fiber Artsy, Katrina at Katrina Brown, and Michelle at Michelle's Melancholia. I will link all of their information in the description below if you want to check out their announcement videos as well as what they'll be reading and what they are recommending for this readathon. I should mention that you do not have to read horror to participate in this readathon. In fact, Kelly over at Kelly Hooked on Books, her son Wyatt is actually participating in this readathon, and his books are not going to be, horror related. In addition to the reading prompts, they have a slew of activities that are going to happen all throughout the month of December. They have a Discord channel, which I'll list in the description. They are having Instagram photo prompts. They are having movie nights. There's going to be a virtual Christmas party, and they also have some fabulous merchandise. I went ahead and got a t-shirt, and this is what it looks like. It's Xmas Evil Readathon 2022. It's the snow, like in a snow globe, and they're all kinds of colors, shirts. If you're interested in, getting some apparel for this readathon. So let's go ahead and get started. The first prompt is Black Christmas. This is to read an occult book or story or a book featuring black magic, etc. I went ahead and chose Math Bird's book, Witches, Cops. Now, I have not read anything by Math Bird before, but I thought this would be a pretty good read. It's not super long. And it has to do with a terrifying ordeal of possession, witchcraft, and the occult. So I thought this would be pretty good for that prompt. Krampus is the second prompt, and it is to read a creature feature or a book or story featuring a monster. Well, I'm fascinated with Krampus, and I have read some short stories about him, and I have seen some movies. I decided, since I always read at least one nonfiction book a month, my decision was to get a book that was nonfiction about Krampus. And this one's called The Krampus and the Old Dark Christmas, Roots and Rebirth of the Folkloric Devil by Alliterative. I can't wait to read this. They have some really awesome pictures in that book. The third prompt is A Christmas Carol. Read a book featuring a ghost or a haunting of some kind. So I chose a retelling of the Christmas Carol, and that is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. And this is a YA story. And it says, on Christmas Eve 5 years ago, Holly was visited by 3 ghosts who showed her how selfish and spoiled she'd become. They tried to convince her to mend her ways. She didn't, and then she died. Now she's stuck working for the top secret company, Project Scrooge, as the latest ghost of Christmas past. Every year, they save another miserly grouch. Every year, Holly stays frozen at 17 while her family and friends go on living without her. So far, Holly's afterlife has been miserable, but this year, everything's about to change. So I think it's going to be fun, and this will be another book that I haven't read anything by the author, so I'm excited to check that out. The 4th prompt is to read a gifted book. So I am reading It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Zombies, a book of zombie Christmas carols by Michael P. Spradlin. This is the book that I got that wonderful song that I sang to you at the beginning of the video. And from what I understand, we might be reading, well, actually, we might be singing some of these Christmas carols at the December virtual Christmas party. Next up is a mood read. So, Kelsi and I, as you know, I've mentioned before, we are doing a project called Year of King. So my mood read is actually going to be the book we're doing for December, and that is The Shining by Stephen King. So we will be reading the book. We're going to be watching the Stanley Kubrick movie, as well as the made-for-television movie, as well as a documentary on the making of the Stanley Kubrick movie. I think the title's like Room 227, perhaps. I'll link that in our, in the description below if anybody's interested in that as well. Number 6 is Sleigh Bells. Read a slasher book or story. Well, I have chosen to read Cricket House by Agatha Christie. One of my goals, reading goals rather, is to read Agatha Christie mysteries. I read a bunch of them when I was in high school, but it's been a long time. And then recently, my private book club read And Then There Was None for our June selection, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm going to try to get more Agatha Christie on my TBRs in the future. Number 7, the prompt is Winter Wonderland. Read a book set in winter. Well, I chose a book that I recently picked up called A Winter Haunting by Dan Simmons. And I think this is going to be more of a thriller kind of story, but it's set in winter, and I find it very interesting. So that's what I've chosen. Number 8 is Santa's Little Helper, and this is to read a middle grade book. Well, I've chosen Dead Voices, and this is by Catherine Arden. I happen to read Small Spaces, which is the first in the Small Spaces trilogy, and I loved it. Actually, I want to say Crystal over at Fiber Artsy recommended this book, and I think she might be reading it as well. But it's just, characters are wonderful, and I can't wait to read the next installment of Ollie's Adventures. The 9th prompt and the final prompt is Reindeer Ride. Read a translated work or a book written by a non-US author. Well, I decided I am going to read a short story out of a collection of stories from Murder for Christmas. Here's the cover, isn't that fabulous? And the story that I'm going to choose is from the British author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. That's a tongue twister. And it is The Adventures of the Blue Carbuncle. So that's going to be a mystery story. It's going to have some murder in it, and we'll see what happens. So that is everything that I'm reading for the Christmas Evil Readathon. Oh, and let me mention, the group read is Autumn Bleeds in Winter by Jeff Strand. And I'm not really sure at this point if I'm going to read that book or not, but I mean, it's there just in case I happen to have room in my schedule to read that one as well. But that's all I'm going to be reading, or what I'm considering reading for the Christmas Evil Readathon. The next readathon that I'm participating in is the Cloak and Dagger Christmas. I heard about this on Mitzi's channel over at Mitzi Reads and Writes, and then I also watched a video on Miriam's channel, Miriam over at Miriam Elizabeth Reads, and I had already committed to the Christmas Evil Readathon, but I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and see if I can at least participate in some of the prompts, because not all of the prompts require reading. So this wonderful challenge or readathon is being hosted by Kate over at the Novel Nomad, Janelle at Too Fond of Books, Mel at Melanie Martin, and Caroline at Caroline's Reading Ramblings, and then Kate at Kate Howe. So I'll list all of their information as well, so if you want to watch their announcement videos and what they're going to be reading, they have a bunch of fantastic suggestions over there. The prompts for this readathon are inspired by the 12 days of Christmas. So the first prompt is a partridge in a pear tree. You are to read a mystery that it has an alliterative title. So it's going to be you know, words that have the same beginning letter, you know, in it. I haven't chosen anything for that one at this point. Like I said, I'm only going to be reading probably 1 or 2 items for this, but if something works out that I can read some, you know, some more in the month, then I'll add it to this. Number 2 is Two Turtle Doves, and this is a buddy read. Well, it's quite possible I might be able to read, you know, one of the books that I've chosen, you know, for the Christmas Evil to be able to read for this. So we'll see. Three French Hens is a translated work or set in a different country. And actually, one of the books that I'm reading for the readathon for Christmas Evil is Agatha Christie's Cricket House. And so that one actually could count for number 3, because Agatha Christie is an English author. So that would be set, and I believe Cricket House is set in, you know, England. Number 4 is Four Calling Birds. This is actually for you to either read in nature, or you could go for a walk and listen to a book on audio, listen to a podcast perhaps that might have, you know, mystery stories on it. So again, I could use, you know, Cricket House for this one as well, and I could read some of it outside in nature, which would be nice. Number 5 is to read a book that has foil on the cover. I haven't chosen anything for that as of the moment. Number 6 is 6 Geese a-laying. Have a cozy time eating Christmas treats and watching a cozy mystery. This one I'm definitely going to do, and I'm going to try to choose for my Christmas TBR a cozy mystery story to put on that, and then that'll kind of balance out between my watching list that I do for Christmas as well, my marathon. 7 is 7 Swans a-swimming. Have a soak in the bath, go for a swim, or walk in the rain. So this is just for relaxation during the hectic holiday season, and I think I will probably soak in the bath. That will probably be the one that I would like to do, because I'm not going to go swimming and I'm not going to go walk in the rain. Number 8, this is an Australian version of the 12 Days of Christmas. It's 8 Dingos Dancing. This is a wild card read. So basically I can choose anything that's mystery related and use it for this prompt. Number 9 is 9 Ladies Dancing. Have a festive night in or out to get into the festive cheer. And I think that this will be pretty easy. I don't have anything on my schedule as of right now except to attend Mass on Christmas Eve evening. And but as the month goes on, there are going to be other things that I can be doing. I actually plan on attending the Christmas Evil virtual party, so that would count as a festive night in. So I could count that. Number 10 is 10 Lords a-Leaping. It is to have a mystery story with nobility. I don't have anything chosen for that at the moment. Number 11, 11 Piper's Piper, 11 Piper's Piping. Listen to cozy Christmas music while reading. I'm going to be able to do that as well. That's an easy one. Anything that I'm reading, I can listen to the Christmas music along with it. And then number 12 is 12 Drummers Drumming. Listen to a crime narrative. And I know that Kate over at the Novel Nomad, she said you could even listen to a true crime podcast, you know, to satisfy this prompt as well. So I may go ahead and do that for that prompt. There's the group read, which is Silent Nights. This is edited by Martin Edwards. It's a bunch of short stories in a collection. This is optional. And that book also includes The Blue Carbuncle by Arthur Conan Doyle. So I'll be able to at least read a story out of their Silent Nights collection. I'm reading it already for the Christmas Evil one. What I think is neat is that you can earn a status from participating in the Cloak and Dagger Christmas Challenge. If you complete at least 4 of the prompts, you will earn the title of Amateur Sleuth. And I think that is what I'm going to be striving for this year, since you know, I've already dedicated most of my TBR for the Christmas Evil Readathon. If you complete 8 of the prompts, you will earn the title of Police Detective. And if you complete all 12 prompts, you will earn the title of Sherlock Holmes. So I just think this is a really neat readathon, and if you're interested in that, check out the information in the description below and get some suggestions for that. Also, I have a book called, it's an Agatha Christie book. It's Murder for Christmas and 3 Other Great Mysteries. So I thought that if I do end up with some extra time in the month of December, that I probably will try to read Murder for Christmas for one of the prompts for the Cloak and Dagger. Okay, so the FOMO book club selection that I'm reading is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. I had mentioned this and the FOMO book club in my book haul, which you could check out right after this video. And they are doing a book every 2 months. So this was actually November and December, but I have been reading a lot in November with some other challenges that I'm doing. So I won't actually start this until December. But this is for the FOMO book club, and it looks really good. It's going to have some romance in it. I'm fully prepared. I've been reading a little more romance in November, and it hasn't killed me. So I think I might continue a little bit with that. The other book challenge that I'm doing happens to be, and I mentioned this one in my November TBR, this book challenge is with my friend Melissa over at Holy Ghost School, and it is with her 7th grade students. This actual readathon or challenge has been going on since October. It's for the second 9 weeks or the second quarter of the school year, and it actually will be completing around December 11th or 12th. So I'll have to get the remaining books for this challenge done before the 12th. But I don't know if you can see this. This is her little, she had done it like on an anchor chart for her classroom, and I just made a copy of it. But as you can see, I have a couple of things already highlighted. One of the books that I need to do is to read a book from a series. I've already read one book, Practical Magic, but I'm going to count Emily of New Moon for that selection, and I'll be wrapping that up very soon in November. But I still have to read a book suggested by Mrs. Morrison, and she suggested that I read Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page, and I believe this is the first in a trilogy. And this is kind of a retelling of Dorothy's, of The Wizard of Oz. So I'm gonna check this one out, and if it's kind of mystery related, I might be able to use this, maybe for the Cloak and Dagger. So I don't know anything about it. I've heard good things though. I know some people that have read it and they've enjoyed it. In fact, this copy was given to me by my friend Debbie because she ended up reading the trilogy and just passed it on to me. The next book is to read a book that has a mystery to solve. And there's another one that is read a book a classmate suggested to you. Well, I don't have any classmates, but I do have friends in the BookTube community. So my friend Amy suggested that I read Crooked House. So to satisfy both of those prompts, I am reading Crooked House by Agatha Christie. So this book will be satisfying 4 prompts in the month of December for all 3 readathons. But I'm really excited and I can't wait to get started on it. I appreciate the recommendation, Amy. So I can't wait to let you know how much I like it, because I'm sure I'm gonna like it and not dislike it. So I look forward to giving you my feedback on that. And that is it for that particular readathon, because I've already, done some things in November for it. As you can see, it's going to be a busy month. These are the books I would like to get to in the month of December. I'm not going to stress myself out if I cannot. There's some that have more priority over others. For example, The Shining. I have, to definitely complete that one because I have a project that I'm working on with Kelsi for that. We always do a live stream and discuss the book and the screen adaptations for that, which will be sometime in January. But whatever I don't get to, it'll just go back on my shelf and I'll read it, either in January or sometime later in 2023. So there you have it. That's what I'm doing for December. What are you doing for December? Are you participating in any of these readathons that I've mentioned? Or do you have any suggestions for mysteries that I could possibly read for Cloak and Dagger? Leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, you know what to do. Stay amazing and be adventurous.